Hello guys, my Kid here coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? Welcome back to my comic review for the week of April 3rd, I believe. So we got the first books that came out for the month of April. And not bad this week. Not bad at all. As always, show some love and respect to the Dark Avenger Inc. family. As always. Show some love and respect to me, mentor, me, bro, me, familia, Blue Goblin. And other than that, the countdown is still on. So we move on to basically the books that came out this week. And once again, as always, every month I like to change up the how I present books. So this week, so in the month of April, we will go independent, DC, and end with Marvel. Okay? Okay, so we have pretty good books. And as always, is there any books that are going to be previewed on Dark Avenger Inc. Plus? Yes, there will be one book there. So whenever you feel like, feel free. You can go there to check out what I thought of issue number 3 of Son of Merlin. Good, very good independent book. Very good book by Top Cow Image. I've been really liking this very much. So that will be on Dark Avenger Inc. Plus. So go over to that channel, and if not, I will also put it in the description. You know, I'll put that video in the description or something like that. So let's kick it off in independent, shall we? We have quite a few independent books. I always tell people, don't sleep on the independent companies. I just did a video over on Dark Avenger Inc. Plus telling why I like independent comics. So let's kick it off with Dynamite. We kick it in Dynamite, one of my favorite independent companies, and we'll start off with Mask number 5. Chris Robinson, Dennis Capera. The art direction is still done by Alex Ross. I heard a lot of people talk about they dropped the title because Alex Ross didn't do the whole series. I wish he did too, but we got some of my favorite pulp characters in this book, and I've been loving it. So basically, in a sense, the group is kind of getting ever so closely to finding out who is the real true mastermind behind the Justice Party. These so-called cops that are armored, well armored and everything like that, and causing the people of the innocents of New York havoc, you know, taxing them and everything like that. And it's up to, you know, these mass heroes to help out. So basically the Shadow comes up with an idea to pretty much try to figure out, because as always, any company or so, you go high, there's always one person that is like the big kahuna, and pretty much that's where we see them. The other thing about this book is the simple fact that we finally get to see Zorro finally make his appearance in action, dishing out some justice. I love how he basically told some of the Justice Party members, like, let's see how good you are. Let's see how good you are when you're fighting someone who is not an old man or a child. Let's see if you got the cojones. And I was loving that. I was like, yeah. And you see, I'll show you a picture of Zorro. There he is, in all his glory, looking cool. And he pretty much. And the other character we get to see in this, who finally makes his debut, is Black Bat. We finally get to see him, another pulp character that is soon be coming out with his own series again for Dynamite, and we finally get to see him dish out his own version of justice as well. But other than that, the series has been really good. The question now is, what happened to the Spider? The Spider disappeared sometime in a few issues ago, and they don't know where he is. But other than that, the series has been really good. As always, before the superheroes, there were the Mask. Very good, in my opinion. So, we move on to keep it in Dynamite, and we move on to one of the first female heroines that came out during the 1940s and lasted from the 40s to the 50s. She was actually an inspiration to Marvel's Hellcat. And that's Ms. Fury. Number one. I got the Alex Ross cover. um, this was really good. I really enjoyed what I got from this. Robin Williams, no, not Rob Williams, is the writer, and Jack Hubert is the artist in this. And we get a sense of, it's like a time travel piece. Like Miss Fury is, you see her sometime in the 40s. She's telling her origin and everything like that. And then she zips. It's like going back and forth. But she is fighting Nazis in the beginning. Very brutal scene. Like she takes no prisoners, pretty much. And we just see her just dish out her own justice as well. She gets zapped into the present, and she's like, what the hell? And then we zip back. It switches, and I love how it says switch, and it switches back to 1943. Now, for all those who don't know who Ms. Fury is, her real name is Marla Drake. She's very rich woman. Her father was rich. Her father died. All the money. Her father was her last blood relative. She has no more blood relatives. And she's the type of woman that doesn't take a lot of crap. She's got a bad kind of a attitude, but she doesn't rely on her money in a sense. And we see that in the story when she's telling it, like when she went to Africa and things like that. You know, she enjoyed being around, you know, the natives and everything like that. And when she came back to society, she was all like, you know, where's the challenge? These people take the lives for granted and everything like that. There were some graphic scenes in this. This is very graphic. You know, from, you know, her getting it on with, you know, some guys, and, you know, people getting shot in the head, and, you know, but other than that, I really enjoyed Miss Fury. Number one, I'm glad I picked it up because I've been loving her in Mask. She's in Mask, and, you know, once again, Dynamite just killing it with the pulp characters, and they're bringing them back, and they're either keeping them in their own era or bringing them into a new era, like the Spider and people like that. But other than that, you know, Dynamite is doing a fantastic job with those characters from eras long before, like when our grandparents were young or something like that. It's very good in my opinion. So we move on to IDW, and IDW, of course, we're talking about G.I. Joe Special Missions number 2. Chuck Dixon still does a bang-up job. He knows what he's doing with the Joes. And in this issue, of course, you know, Scarlet, she and the Special Missions team, you know, they're still trying to track down the Baroness. Now, for all you don't know, Scarlet and Mainframe lead this group of Joes, while Duke's team is more of that publicized team. They're like the more secret team, like the one that do more of the Black Op missions and stuff like that. Not really much to talk about too much because it's more of the demons that Scarlet is dealing with, especially her nightmares. We do get to see Snake Eyes in this. She's having a nightmare about Snake Eyes, who is her husband. You know, at one point, I think they still classify her as her husband, but she's having a nightmare about, you know, when supposedly Snake Eyes turned on the Joes. He didn't turn on the Joes, but during his series, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, but the Scarlet and Mainframe go deep because they're looking through. The Cobra had tried to get hold of something that was deep under in the ocean. They had a deep dive mission, and that's pretty much it. We also get to see Serpentor. He's still trying to find the Baroness and everything like that. So it's not just the Joe's looking for Baroness. It's also Cobra. You know, they're looking for her too. But other than that, I still enjoyed this. I made it my. I was like, you know what, I gotta pick up a G.I. Joe title. No disrespect to Fred Van Lint. I think he's a great writer, but I wasn't really feeling that team that he has publicized, and you know, I was like, you know what, I'll take Special Missions uh, over the publicized G.I. Joe group. I still miss my boy Snake Eyes. That's my favorite Joe. I miss him, and I wish he comes back because he would work well on this group, not on the publicized team. But yeah, still was good nonetheless. So we move on to Valiant Comics. ShadowMan #6. Justin Jordan still does a bang up job with ShadowMan. Very much. And we got Jack. You know, he's still learning the powers of the ShadowMan. We also get to see that uh, the individual that he was dealing with, that he stopped from entering Earth, Lord Darkholm, I believe I'm saying it, Darkez, there we go. He's trapped in this hellish world, and he almost is about to make deal with someone who else is, I believe his name is the Abitor, and things like that. But however, the Abitor pulls a fast one on Darkez and tells him that, goes to see, Jack, where he's paying a visit to someone in the grave. He's paying respects to someone's grave, and tells him, I'm not here to fight you, but he is stronger than Jack as ShadowMan. He's just tossing ShadowMan around. He's like, look, I didn't come here to fight, but we cannot let Lord Darkez enter Earth. He's possessed somebody else, but he's telling him that. It kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger, like, is it the enemy of my enemy is my friend, or otherwise? So it kind of leaves you with a sense of like, Jack, can you trust this guy or not? But other than that, ShadowMan Valiant has been doing a bang-up job. ShadowMan is really good. And we move on to ZENESCOPE. And we definitely picked up the one shot. I had to pick this up, of Grim Fairy Tales Robin Hood versus Red Riding Hood. This is another independent company I tell people don't sleep on. ZENESCOPE. First of all, I loved the Robin Hood series that they had put out. The Red Riding Hood was pretty good too, but my favorite was the Robin Hood one. Excuse me. Pat Shand is the writer on this, and this is cover A, actually. This is cover A. I thought this cover was really nice. This picks up right where Robin Hood's miniseries ended, where she finished her time in the mist, and she's back on Earth now. Now, for all those who never read anything from ZENESCOPE, alright, let me give you a kind of a really quick synopsis of what the ZENESCOPE universe is about. Alright, and I'm going to read it exactly from what it is. Basically, for centuries, guys, it was assumed that fairy tales and, and fables were all fictional stories passed down from generation to generation to generation. However, that is not entirely true. Beings from 4 different realms linked to Earth do fact exist. And those realms are known as the Mist, where Robin Hood was, Neverland, Wonderland, and Oz. So you get where I'm going at? Now, some of those people in this universe were born with abilities, so they're called highborns. And others that were kind of born of both human and highborns, they're called false bloods. So kind of half-breeds or something like that, basically. In this story, it's pretty much a cat and mouse game between these two. Red Riding Hood in this is not the sweet Red Riding Hood you think she is. She is a bounty hunter, in a sense. And she's been tracking Robin Hood for a while now. She's been tracking her because Robyn has killed some people now. And when they meet, it's all gloves are off. Now, Robyn is trying to tell her, Robyn, like, look, you don't understand. Yeah, I killed people, but you don't get it. Now, if you've never read her series, I do recommend it because it gives you a sense of why she did it. Let me tell you a little bit of what happened to Robyn. She was raped, and had by these guys, and then had her eye pulled out. The sheriff knew about it, did nothing about it. So not only did she kill those guys, she also, if I believe it, she even said, I killed the sheriff. And that's pretty much it. But it's a pretty good cat and mouse game between these two. It was really fun to read. I did enjoy it. Was it a misunderstanding? Not really, because Robyn even tells Red here, she's like, I did kill him, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat, because of what they did. I mean, you got to look at it from her point of view as well. But Red Riding Hood is more like, you're killing innocent people. But I have no love for rapists. I have no love for that. So I was really on Red Riding Hood's side. I mean Robyn's side on this. And I did enjoy this very much. And I'm glad to know that Robyn Hood will be coming back with another series. It's called Robyn Hood Wanted. And I can't wait till that comes out in May. Very good. Very good one shot. It was fun. I loved it. And, it was really good. I always tell people, check out ZENESCOPE. You won't be disappointed. Alright, so we move on to DC. Got a few DC for you. Alright, so first of all, we'll start off with Batwing. Yeah, Batwing number 19. A hero falls, and the new night rises. If y'all can see that. Alright, so this is issue number 19. David Zambi, the current Nightwing, is basically talking to Batman and telling him he's done. He's done being Batwing. He's done being Batwing. He's passing. He's giving everything back to Bruce, in a sense, and it was kind of a sad story, but it kind of left you with a sense of, okay, what's going to happen now? Who's going to protect, who's going to be, quote unquote, the Batman of Africa, in a sense, or things like that. I don't use that title. I don't care about that. But I have been loving Batwing. And Jim Polly and Justin, they come on, and basically he tells him, David does one more case as Batwing. He takes down Marksburg, the guy he's been going after, the rich guy, and his son, who has been getting away with a lot of crimes, raping, killing people, and the police department that David worked for, but he's on suspension, has like turned the other cheek and like, we can't keep him. He's got good lawyers and everything like that. And he pretty much, he gets into him. He gets it on him. He puts the hurt lock on them. He even takes on Sky Pirate, the guy who blew up his headquarters and nearly basically killed his best friend, his friend Matu. And pretty much that was basically, David's last case. He even tells Batman, I'm done. I have to fight a different way. I can't fight it this way. It's a lot different in Africa than in, basically he says, it's a lot different in Tunisia, that's the name of it, than Gotham City. And Batman understands. He's like, I understand, David, but there'll always be a place for you in Batman Inc., things like that. And, he basically got Bruce goes home, goes back to Gotham and tells Alfred about, what's going on. Shows Alfred a new suit that has been worked on, that Lucius Fox has worked on for him. There were some sad moments here. I'm not going to spoil too much, even though I probably Not a lot of people that watch my stuff read Batwing, but not going to spoil too much. He does quit being a cop too, but as you can see, Bruce is here with the new suit. Lucius Fox made it, and he's telling Alfred about what it can do and everything like that. And then he says, Alfred says, so now are you going to go with your first choice for Batwing? And he says, yes, I have to go out, but I want you to bring him to the bunker later tonight after the fight. And so you're like, what fight? And pretty much we enter somewhere where, a stadium, and it looks like an MMA fight here. And we're seeing this guy, he's monologuing and everything like that. And you see him just really beating the crap out of his opponent. And then all of a sudden the guy says, ladies and gentlemen, 49 seconds into the first round, your winner by KO, Luke Fox. Lucius Fox's son. So basically, it seems like Luke Fox has done everything. He even says it. I've been doing everything in my power to make Batman, to get Batman's attention that I want to be a part of, Batman Inc. Now, I'm not sure if the new Batwing is going to be Luke Fox, but if it is, it's kind of like, Bruce, don't you think, why would you have your employee's son as someone a part of your group? It's just, don't you feel, I look at that kind of selfish in a sense. It's like, what if he dies? Once again, that's not your son, or, you just lost your son. You're going to put someone else's son in danger and things like that. So, that's why it's always kind of like, does Batman really need a Robin now? Or should a Robin come along who's a little bit older and things like that? So, it's kind of, it leaves you with a question, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Luke Fox can do as this new Batwing. David went out like a trooper. He went out classy. He had one more round, and he's not dead. He's still alive, so it's good to see that. And, I'm cool with that. I have no problem with that. I thought they were going to kill him off, and then after they killed him off, then I'd have been upset. I'm like, you just killed him off so somebody else. I'm hoping David appears in the book, be like maybe Luke's, eyes and ears and stuff like that. Maybe Luke's commissioner or something like, something like that. All right. So we'll move on to this huge 80-page Detective Comics number 19. Yeah, this was an $8 book. Yeah. The cover, beautiful, beautiful. It opens up, as always. What is the 99? All right. John Layman, Jason Fabok does basically the artwork. Basically, this is the introduction of Dr. Langstrom, of course, and Man-Bat. That's pretty much the whole gist of all the stories in here. It pretty much involves Man-Bat. Really good. Don't want to spoil too much. A lot of it deals with Man-Bat. One of Batman's rogues became kind of a bat creatureness. Not going to spoil who that was. Which is cool. We saw Langstrom's wife do something that was just like, don't you dare. We saw a story between Bane. What's been going on with Bane since Detective Comics, since his last appearance in Detective Comics. I believe Detective Comics or Batman, Dark Knight. I believe Dark Knight, yeah. He's been training some of these juiced up Venom-like characters, and they're fighting off Talons, and it seems like their story is going to continue in Talon, which I am reading, so I'm going to see what's going on in Talon. And there's some more stuff with that Emperor Penguin bullcrap. But I enjoyed it for what it was, like I said. Why is it so thick and so big? Because this is supposed to be the 900th issue of Detective Comics. Too bad it ain't go back to 99, but they're still celebrating it like that. It was fine. It was good. All right, so we move on to Earth 2. Look who's on that cover. Oh, that is beautiful. Yes, look at Dr. Fate. When fate calls, watch this, people. A miracle answers. Yes, look at that. Mr. Miracle and Big Barda. Yeah. This, as always, James Robinson has not disappointed me with this title at all. I've said it before, if this is the only place where I'm going to be able to get the JSA, so be it. I'm a huge JSA fan, and we see in this book a little bit of Wu-Tan story, and of course Jay trying to save his mom from Wu-Tan. You know, he's basically going through this labyrinth, through the Tower of Fate, and this beast is chasing him. You know, his mom is really rooting for him. She appreciates, appreciate what he's become, everything like that. Khalid, the host of the new Dr. Fate, we see that he has connections to Kent Nielsen, the original Dr. Fate. So Kent Nielsen is mentioned in this. I believe Naboo says Khalid is the adopted son of Kent Nielsen. But Kent is really inspired. Khalid is inspired by Jay. He's not giving up. He wants to rescue his mama, and and things like that. So he's like, okay, you know what? If you can do it, I can do it. And Naboo is telling him, like, look, become, what I am. And you really see this character who was really like a wreck. And the first time we get to see him, he finally is like, all right, you know what, Jay? He says basically this world needs heroes. Heroes sacrifice and dare and win if destiny sees fit to award them. So let me use magic to tip those scales in our favor. And then Jay is like, Khalid? And he's like, not now, no. I am Dr. Fate. That is beautiful. I love Fate's look in this. That is beautiful. Very good drawing by Nicole Scott. And he says, now let's go save your mother. That is beautiful. And do we get to see Mr. Miracle and Big Barda in it? Yes, we do. We get to see them. And it seems like there's some coming. There's still some good stuff coming. But other than that, very good. Very good indeed. All right. We move on to Green Arrow, number 19. The shocking truth about the death of Green Arrow's father. All right. Jeff Lemire, I tip my hat to him. Still does a very good job. Komodo. Is Komodo the new equivalent to Merlin the Dark Archer? I would kind of assume yes, he is, because in this story, man, Ollie is just really, in a sense, no match for Komodo, whether it's hand-to-hand combat or archery. You expect, this is Green Arrow we're talking about. Great archer, he's this, So he should be able to match. Not really. And Komodo's like boasting about it. Is saying, I'm better than you. How can you call yourself an archer and you use all these trick arrows and everything? Like, he is razzing on Ollie about all the trick arrows and everything like that. Then he goes on to say, I had you, he has Ollie in a position, he's like, you're in the same position just like your father. And that's where it starts getting really interesting. It's like, he's like, yeah, I killed your father. And it's like, whoa. And Ollie's thinking, wait, you're lying. My father died. And he's like, that's what you think happened? And it just gets really, really dire. And if you think Komodo is dangerous, his freaking daughter is just as deadly as him. And she can shoot arrows just like her father. And she is really good. Ollie can't believe how fast she is, how quick she can, release arrows. It's crazy. But yeah, this is getting good. Very good. Very much a big step up from what the past creative teams have been doing. Lemire is doing a fantastic job on this book. Green Arrow, don't sleep on it. I'm telling you right now. Lemire's run is definitely a pickup point. Very good. Alright, so we move on to Green Lantern number 19. This is part 9 of the First Lantern. I ain't going to use wrath. That word does not exist with this story arc. When every core is shattered, fear burns brightest. Okay, let's make this real quick because I'm really, really starting to get a lot teed off at this story arc. Very much. For this to be Jeff Johns' last story arc with the title, this is not living up to the hype. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Where's the wrath of this First Lantern? He ain't doing shit. All he's doing is being a leech. So it should have been called the Leech of the First Lantern. Bottom line is, he now is bothering Sinestro. And what does he do in this to Sinestro? Oh boy, he does a lot. And yeah, he leeches Sinestro, he leeches off this, he focuses, and yeah, he even causes the death of Sinestro's home planet. I'll give him that. I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to see a little bit. But other than that, it was almost the same thing until that big bomb happened. And what's going on with Hal? Some things with going on with him. But the bottom line is, Sinestro, his planet is gone. His people are dead. And it looks like he's going to turn back to his traditional core, yellow fear. But other than that, it's just like, come on. It's like, get in a sense now, it's, to me, one part of me is like, come on, get this over with now. Get it over with. Get this done. I'm done with this, because it's like, this to me is false advertising. They're not giving me any wrath. Now, if you're a Green Lantern fan and you don't agree with my opinion, that's fine. But believe me when I tell you, where's the wrath? You seeing any wrath in this from the First Lantern? I think not. Think not. Think not. And last but not least, we'll end with World's Finest Power Girl, Huntress. The man of her dreams, or a new nightmare. So I'll definitely have to agree with, definitely am going to agree with Gabi on this. I think Paul Levitz, I know he's the creator of Huntress, I get that, but I think maybe it's time for a new creative team on this because it seems like it's Huntress doing the espionage missions, Power Girl, Karen Starr in the spotlight, And in this book is basically, is this truly Mr. Terrific Michael Holt or someone else? Bottom line, yes, it's someone else. Who it is, yes, I'll tell you who it is. It's basically, where is it? Desaad. That's pretty much it, guys. It's just it. It's like, okay, now Desaad's joined the party, so where's this gonna go from there? You know what I'm saying? All right. So we end this, guys, with Marvel. All right. So we got 7 Marvel books. All right, here we go. So we kick it off with. Oops, sorry. We'll kick this off with Age of Ultron. This is book number 4. Bendis, Hitch. Yeah, Luke's on the cover. My boy Luke, and in this he is not looking so good. Things don't go as planned, even with Jennifer, She-Hulk, as well. We find out in this issue that Ultron he's in the future. You hear what I just said? He's in the future. But he's monitoring all this. That's what the Vision said, who we find out is in this. Luke, there are a lot of things that go on in this that just really, oh man. Back in San Francisco, we got Moon Knight and Black Widow in a secret bunker that Nick Fury had, and they're going on some things and, you know, talking about some suggestions where they might need to go and everything like that. Then we go back to New York and we see what's going on with the heroes, and basically we see Storm. She's levitating mostly all the heroes that are left. You know, she's concentrating to keep them all afloat. It goes from San Francisco, New York. Then we're in Chicago. What's going on with Red Hulk, Taskmaster? Something bad happened to Black Panther. And then, of course, 8 days later, we're in the Savage Land. And, it's like, they have to figure out what's going on with the Savage Land. Kazar's here and everything like that. We get to see Kazar. And, they talk about Luke Cage, and it's not looking well for Luke at all. Do I love Luke? You guys should already know that by now. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters. And let's just say he survived a nuclear explosion. However, even his skin can't protect him from that. And ladies and gentlemen, Luke's dying. He's dying. He's dying. You see, Wolverine is telling Cage is down there. He's just, he's dying. Basically, that's literally what they say. And then, of course, that's where, Hulk, Moon Knight, and, Black Widow comes in and tells him, we got a plan. Like, something's going on, but the fire is building. It's still building. And, yeah, it's not looking good for Luke, man. Very sad to see that, but it's not looking so good for Luke. Alright. So we'll move on to all new X-Men number 10. Bendis, if you were standing next to me, man, I'd kiss you. And Mont, artwork is great for this. But yeah, Bendis, this revival, this new stuff that Marvel's putting out was good for you. It's really good for you because you're seeing the consistency. You're seeing that Bendis is literally taking his time with this, because for me personally, I can see where Bendis starts having a problem. When he starts writing too many titles, as I said before, you can start seeing writer's block starts happening. And he starts nearly rehashing the same story. But in this story, yeah. Without spoiling too much, Scott's uncanny team comes to the Jean Grey school. Yeah, and he basically comes on there and, you know, he's telling them, like, oh, yeah, I'm not here to fight you and everything like that. I know there's some Cyclops fan out here, but you got to believe me when I tell you. You can't cover up the shit he has done, okay? He needs to take responsibility for what he did. And in this book, he does not. He literally says, he's saying, you know, he comes on, I didn't come here, and Iceman says, if you're here to give up and stand trial for killing Professor Xavier, yeah, we're all for that. Let's do it. And he says, well, I'm not here, Bobby, for that. You know, I didn't do that. And you're reading this, you're like, seriously, Scott, you're gonna pull that routine again. You had no control over your actions. Bullshit. That was from Malcolm. That's BS, because it's like, I don't care what the entity, the Phoenix or whatever, you knew exactly what the Phoenix was, and you went along with it. You killed the man. He even says, I killed the man that was like a father to me, raised me. And I'm like, how can you sit there with a straight face and say that without, it's like, good God. You know, and even Beast even steps up to him and is like, Beast is just looking at him like, give me one good reason why I shouldn't rip your head right off. And he basically says, you know, we got to stand up. There's a revolution coming. We need faces, blah, blah. And he literally says, this is what Charles trained us for. Since we were kids, we were fighters. And it's like, you just did a whole 360 now in your logic. You know, now some people may agree and say, well, you know, Professor Xavier did train them like soldiers and things like that. But in this, you just cannot look at, you're looking at something, you're like, dude, what the hell? Like, man. Now, there are some individuals from the Jean Grey School that leave. 3 of them, to be exact. The 3 that leave, I was not surprised at all, because they pretty much are the love childs of Emma. So I'm like, I wasn't surprised. Yeah, all you should know who it is. It's the Stepford sisters, the Cuckoos. I'm like, you know, I ain't. But then there's the cliffhanger that someone says, I'll go. They turn around, but they don't show who it is. And I was like, yeah, good cliffhanger. Now your mouth is watering for who is to come. And I was like, yes, good stuff. All new X-Men. Oh, one of my favorites out of the Marvel Now stuff. It's been really good. Been loving it. All right, so we move on to Indestructible Hulk. Check out that cover, banging cover. Walter Simonson, legend himself, is doing the artwork along with Mark Waid. That's right. So basically, in this, Bruce is living up to his agreement with S.H.I.E.L.D. They use the Hulk when needed. He's able to do his scientific work with his own team, you know, to benefit of mankind. And in this issue, basically, we see Hulk with, you know, Bruce Banner with his scientific team, and they're about to pretty much, they get a sample of, they're going to run some tests or something on the sample of Uru metal that Thor bestowed upon him, the same metal that is made out with Thor's hammer. Mjolnir is made out of. And all of a sudden, pretty much, Bruce and his team are transported to, transported to, what part of Asgard or so? damn it, what's it called? Um, the realm of the frost giants. Pretty much, I'm forgetting that. I used to know the realms by heart, but I can't remember right now. And pretty much, they're there. All of a sudden, Thor comes. Bruce sees Thor, and he's like, Thor. He's like, hey, what's with the retro look? Thor's in his retro look. I'm talking straight up retro look, Jack Kirby style. Bam. And he's telling Thor's like, mortals, stay thee where they are. He's talking the old English talk. He's like, it's not wise, safe to be here. Go back where hence you came from, and everything like that. And uh, Thor is like, Thor doesn't know Bruce, and he's like, wait, strange whereabouts. He's like, Thor, it's me, Bruce Banner. And Thor's like, I know not thee. He's like, and so I'm guessing they're in the past, but still, he's trying to convince Thor, hey, it's me, Bruce. What's going on? Hey, fellow Avenger here, remember? And Thor's just like, you mortals, you make me laugh. Like, I always love your sense of humor. And then, of course, the Frost Giants come, and we get a battle between Thor and the Frost Giants. And unfortunately, the Frost Giant be able to sucker punch Thor, sucker attack Thor. I'm talking Leo. Hit him from behind, bam. Bruce turns into the Hulk, and he has a battle with the Frost Giants. And of course, this is where it gets really interesting here. Hulk sees Thor's hammer, and he picks it up. Looks like brute strength. He's just picking it up, and then all of a sudden, Hulk is worthy. Yeah. So it ends right there, and it's like, whoa, Hulk picked up the hammer again. But it looks like this time Mjolnir literally almost let him. So it's like, whoa. But it did look like at first, Hulk, he was just picking up with his brute strength. But it was fun. But I love that scene where Bruce was like, hey, Thor, it's me, Bruce. What are you talking about? It's me. And he's like, I don't know you. I don't know you. So my guess is they're in the past, before Thor met Bruce or something like that. But it was fun. All right. And as always, like I said before, riding this out, but I'm actually enjoying it as well. I was about to say spectacular. Superior Spider-Man, number 7. Dan Slott, Humberto Ramos. I'm not really a big fan of his art. I can tolerate his art more than I can tolerate, the dude who does Uncanny X-Men. Blotchia. Basically, in this issue, we get the return of a anti-hero we haven't seen since, the 90s in Spider-Man, Cardiac. So it's good to see him. I give Slott a lot of credit for bringing him in. But, of course, this is still building up to what happened last week with the Avengers seeing, what happened. But as also, the story is getting geared up because Pete seems to now is gaining control. He's gaining some control. We see it in the book. He's able to hit the right arm, and he's trying to write something, but he can't. And then, of course, there's the fight between Cardiac and Doc when Cardiac needs some help with some patients of his, and he's basically Peter, as the voice is saying, like, look, don't do this. Like, come on, like, stop. And he finally says, stop. And pretty much Ock turns around and is like, who said that? Like, who said that? And Peter's like, yo, you heard me? You heard me? And so now it's almost like Peter is gaining control. And it's like, whoa, okay, now we're getting somewhere. And he's like, what's going on? Then, of course, there's a scene with the Avengers. And they're like, we're going to run some tests on you. Because you're not the Spider-Man we know. they're starting to finally put it together. Like, something is wrong with you. You're beating people to death. You're nearly beating them to a pulp, near death. Thor is like, that's not the good man that I know. Things like that, And, Cap's like, we're going to give you a physical. And he's like, no, you're not. Hell no. Get off of me. And Cap puts his hand again. He's like, that's not a request, soldier. And throws Peter. I remember. Let me remember what he said. What did he say? He says, get your hands off of me, you flag-waving fool. And he just tosses Cap. And then you see Wolverine, Shink, Spider-Woman charging up her Venom blast, and Thor with Mjolnir. And then, Thor's like, and then I love how Peter says, "Oh, I would give I would give her some ghost popcorn right now," because he's like, "Okay, this is getting good now." And Thor's like, "Whoever thou art, stand down or face the wrath of the mighty Avenger." Is Wolverine's what he said, and it's like it's to the point now. It's like basically it's Doc Ock, Spider versus the Avengers. Now it's not the full team. It's just Black Widow, Spider-Woman, Thor, Wolverine, and Cap. But still, it's like they now starting to put it together, and it's looking dire. But it was good. I still enjoyed it very much. So we move on to the Mad Titan himself, Thanos Rising #1. This is a miniseries. Jason Aaron's, Simon Blacchi, does the artwork, and of course his artwork is always beautiful. I always like watching his artwork. Alright. This is the origin, in a sense, how Thanos became Thanos. Now, talk to one of my buddies, TanakaCon 1985, he's telling me he didn't really like it. I respect his decision. Now everybody's gonna like stuff. He gave his reason why he didn't like it. Okay. But for me, I liked it. I was like, okay. Because I can't remember Thanos' origin too much. I know he's from Titan, one of the moons of Jupiter and everything like that. He's the Celestials and everything like that. Remember that. But we kind of get a sense of what he is. And in this book, whoo-hoo, man, you talk about his mama. The moment she saw him, she wanted to kill him. She wanted to kill him. She saw him and she was like reaching for a knife. Her husband, wife, what are you doing? He's like, I'm gonna kill him. And he's like, we have to kill him. Things like, and it was just like they had to sedate her. We see Thanos growing up as a child. We see him that he's kind of, he's like one of those isolated kids. He stays in his own world. They just say, a lot of the kids say, you look weird. Why do you look that way? And he's just like, my appearance is, because I'm a mutation or something like that. And, he seems, you see Thanos as like, wow, Thanos kind. And, kids are interacting. You're thinking, the kids are going to tease him. But then there's like, hey, why don't you come play with us and stuff like that? And you're like, okay, but you see Thanos is kind of a good artist. He was drawing something. But unfortunately, we kind of see that, he goes to talk to his mom, who's in a straitjacket now, and he's like, I'll bring you some flowers, mother. And it's like, oh, geez. She don't want to look at him. She's just... And we're really starting to see the rising. And I remember there's a scene in here where he's at school, and they're about to, dissect, I guess, some iguanas or something. Thanos don't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it. And then, it gets really in-depth from there. And that's where I'm going to end it right there. But for the first issue, I was fine with what was going on. I was fine. But it's going to show us how he became the Mad Titan and his obsession with death. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I'm glad to see that my mentor, Gabi, enjoyed it too, as well. Alright, so we move on to Venom number 33. Cullen Bunn still does the artwork. Shively is the artist. Now, yeah, this is basically, we're getting back to the good stuff for Venom, you know, the street level stuff. But we all know that Toxin, who is Eddie Brock, is tracking him, tracked him down to Philly. The last issue we saw, Venom was fighting this monster-like creature that's got alien parts in him, and he's just grotesque. And we see Flash is still trying to, he's really starting to get his bearings in Philly. He's talking to Beast over, you know, the internet. I guess you can say it's a Skype call or something like that. And, you know, he's saying, you know, Beast, you know, if I can find this guy, I'll bring him. Maybe you can help him and everything like that. Toxin tracks down the guy. Does he kill him? No. But we're really starting to see that. And, of course, we get to see grandson and grandfather meet again. Toxin and Venom. Now, some of you may say, grandfather, grandson? What are you talking about, Chris? You forget, the symbiotes. Toxin is Carnage's son, just a symbiote. That makes, and Venom is, who's Carnage's what? Father. So, yeah. And we kind of see that. But we don't see them fight. It just ends on a, here we go. Be back next month with the next issue. But yes, it's good. Very good. The street level stuff is good. And I know my mentor, Gabi, is, as Blue Goblin would say, you know, I'm tired of all this hellfire bullshit. I'm tired of that. Let's get back to the street level stuff. You know, so we kind of get back to it. And yeah, it's been good. You know. And we're going to end this, guys, with Winter Soldier 17. Kevin Latour and who is the artwork artist on this? No, Jason Latour, excuse me, and Nick Klein is the artwork. I really wish they get a new artist for this. I'm not really feeling Nick Klein's artwork. But the bottom line, we're still deep in depth into Bucky's past when he was still the Winter Soldier, and a lot of this stuff is still coming back to bite him in his ass. And he's also dealing with, you know, Nick Fury's trying to give him a purpose, you know, because at one point, you know, like I said, he's kind of given up after he had to let Natasha go. You know, he loves Natasha, and, you know, but he has to give that up, and, you know, he's trying to get back, you know, and, you know, some powerful satellites were stolen from S.H.I.E.L.D., and, you know, that's his mission, to get back who stole it. Who stole it is this woman called the Electric Ghost, and she plays a lot into Bucky's past. And when her and Bucky meet again, she even looks at Bucky like, I know you, like, and let me show you what she looks like. She's pretty cool. That's her right there. They call her the Electric Ghost. But yeah, it's like, woo, and, you know, it kind of gives you a sense of, like, what's going to happen in this. But still, it's good espionage book, as always. You know, it's the world of the Winter Soldier, and it's dark, it's gritty, it's not peaches and cream. Very good. Okay, so other than that, guys, that is it for my current review. I'll be back next week, as always, God willing, as always, with the next roundup of books. As always, once again, this is Mount Vernon Kid saying peace and love. Stay tuned, keep it real. As always, show some love and respect to Dark Avenger Inc. family, all those who are part of it. Show some love to my mentor, Goblin. And once again, a good friend of me and Gabi's, Brandon Hex. If you do know Brandon Hex, he puts up those great CMVs, comic motion videos. He's reloading his channel now. He's got a new channel up, or it's a backup channel. You know, subscribe to him, please. You know, you won't be disappointed. But other than that, guys, you know, keep following me, subscribing, do whatever. Catch me wherever you can. You know, I'm all over. But other than that, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next week.